What's going on, guys? I'm Jaye the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I want to talk about former NFL player Aqib Talib. His brother is now wanted for taking the life of a youth football coach after, I believe, a youth football game. Aqib and his brother, I believe his name is Yacub, they were coaching on the opposite side, and some altercation ensued, and this coach lost his life in a very senseless altercation. And now one man is gone, another man is probably going to be behind bars for a long time, because in Texas, you take another person's life, you're automatically going to prison and you're never getting out. So now he's wanted. Now, I've talked about this a lot, about the plight of the black male. I feel like the melanated community is just in chaos. It has been for quite some time. The males in the community are just out of their minds. A lot of these guys are out of their minds. They were raised without great leadership from other men to respect other men. It shouldn't have gotten this far. I understand you being passionate about what you do, but to take it to this level just shows me that we just don't have a respect level for each other. Our lives don't matter to each other. I know y'all don't want to hear this, but black lives don't matter to a lot of black people out here who are committing crimes against other black people. Now, it may mean something to the person's family who loses somebody, yes, but there's a lot of people who go out here and harm black people, go out and harm each other, and it is not given the same level of importance as when a non-melanated person takes the life of a black person. Now, I had recently seen Aqib on the NFL Network. I believe he was on the NFL morning show on the NFL Network. And I believe he also may be doing some play-by-play. I'm not 100% sure. So I had just seen Talib maybe a couple days ago on the NFL Network. And he was there. He was involved in the altercation. That's why people were pointing the finger towards him instead of his brother, because him and his brother do look alike. They both have, I believe, bald heads. They both look very similar to each other. But he was not the perpetrator because they have identified his brother as being the perpetrator. Now, I first remember Aqib when he got drafted. I remember his draft party. It goes back a while. When he, his draft party, I remember he was there, I believe, at home with his family. When he got drafted, him and his family turned the music up. He started dancing. It was just cool to see, right? That's one of my earliest memories of Aqib Talib. And the fact that the guy has a personality. He would get into it with players on the field, but it stayed on the field, right? So I've known about Aqib. He was a really good player in college, really good player in the NFL. And he's a guy that transitioned into basically TV. So what happened recently now with his brother is just a shame. It really is. Now, I don't know if he's going to get any type of blowback from this because, again, he was there. And I believe he was said to have been involved in the altercation that led to what happened, him and his brother. But I just think that it's very senseless. And this is why we need to have these types of conversations in the black community, because people tend to want to brush over this and act like it's not as important as it should be. This should be the number one topic. There's no white people to blame, people. There's not one white person to blame. So we need to get out of that mindset of when things happen, we can blame somebody else. We need to look at the fact that a lot of us don't respect each other. We really don't. We don't respect each other, and we do damage to each other for obviously our own selves, our self-esteem. It's how we were raised. And this is sad because one man is gone. He's passed away. And one man's probably going to be in prison for the rest of his life. Now, he can claim self-defense, but in Texas, I don't know how far that's going to go, because when you're involved in an altercation with somebody and that person loses their life, that whole self-defense thing may not work. So I got a couple of different articles here. We're going to get into the one from the New York Post. It says, the brother of a former NFL player, Aqib Talib, is wanted in connection to a shooting that broke out during an argument at a youth football game in Texas, leaving a coach deceased, authorities said Sunday. Police identified Yacub Talib as a suspect in Saturday evening incident at Lancaster Community Park in southeast Dallas, Texas, with a bunch of children. You got a bunch of grown men getting into it while you have children there. You got young boys that look up to their coaches, that look up to the men that are there. And you got dudes arguing with the refs. Then you got dudes getting into it with each other. This is what these young boys have to see. So no wonder they grew up the way that they do. Because the men that they're supposed to look up to don't even know how to be professional and don't know how to have good sportsmanship and understand that, you know what, your team is going to learn, your team is going to get better, but they have to learn how to coexist with their opponents. Gunfire erupted during a spat between opposing coaches and the officiating crew that turned physical, Lancaster police said in a news release. One man was hit and rushed to a local hospital, but he did not survive. He was identified as youth football coach Mike Hickmon in local reports. We send our deepest thoughts and prayers to the family, friends, former teammates, and players of Coach Mike Hickmon after learning about the appalling tragedy that took place earlier this evening in Lancaster, tweeted the account for Texas Football Life on Saturday. As you can see there, it's Coach Hickmon, man. Coach Hickmon, man. It's sad. It really is. This is black people can't even get together to have youth football games without these males getting in their emotions and wanting to argue with each other. It makes no sense. These young boys are looking for leadership from you, and you're acting just as emotional as the women in the stands. Video of the incident circulating around social media shows a man arguing with a ref, with a fight beginning several yards away and then shots erupting. The Dallas Morning News reported. Lancaster City spokesperson Scott Finley said authorities believe Yacub Talib, whose brother is former NFL cornerback, was the suspected perpetrator, according to the newspaper. An attorney for Aqib told TMZ Aqib was present when this unfortunate incident occurred and is very distraught and devastated over this terrible loss of life. It was senseless and it didn't need to happen. He would like to convey his condolences to the family of the victim and to everyone who witnessed this unfortunate tragedy. Aqib took the field for 4 teams during his respectable pro career that began in 2008, including a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos in 2015. He hung up his cleats and helmet in 2020. And that's why he's been doing TV ever since. This is why I say what I say, people. We are in a time where we don't have strong men anymore who can coexist with each other, especially in the melanated community. I mean, this could happen anywhere, but this happens way too much in these get-togethers with black people. Right? They got to have armed security. They have to have police officers at these events because things like this could happen. We've seen incidents of people firing in funerals. It's like we can't get together without something happening that just throws off and destroys everything. We do it to ourselves. We got to stop looking outward and blaming everybody else. Y'all look crazy when y'all do that. You look disingenuous. What happened on that field is a disgrace. It should have never happened. Never should have happened. This coach should have never lost his life, but it happened. Hopefully the people in that situation, especially Aqib, can learn from this. I'm pretty sure because again, he seemed like he was, on a path to, being a TV guy, because he has the personality for it. I mean, he still may be. I'm not saying that it's over, but I'm just saying, like, what happened is not good, man. It's not. Because he's going to be forever tied to this. He's going to be forever tied to this. And listen, if y'all want to go and see the video, I'll link it in the description. I'm not going to show it here. But I want y'all to understand that we have to work on ourselves. We have to fix ourselves. We have to really look inward before we look outward for our I'm gonna say fixing, but to repair who we are. We got to do the self work. People tell me, you talk about the plight of women a lot. You never talk about men. You don't go in depth about mental health and about the fatherlessness, which I have plenty of times. I do. I speak about the plight of the melanated man all the time. Aren't you listening? You can't have one bad situation without the other. You can't have crazy delusional women without men who are feeding that delusion. We have this disgraceful incident all over a youth football game. What were they betting on the game for it to get to this point? You're a coach. You're supposed to be there to motivate those young men, but you failed at doing that. And whatever happens as far as legally, you brought on yourself. Why are you bringing a weapon to a youth football game? That just shows you that these guys know they can't coexist with other people who look like them at a youth football game. And you brought a weapon. Well, were you losing the fight? It's crazy, man. But I want this to be something that people can learn from. That's why I'm speaking about this. Hopefully people can listen to what I'm saying and understand that we have a lot of issues in the melanated community. We need to stop looking outward and look inward. We want to look at, it's easy to blame Caucasians and the Caucasian community for our problems, but it's hard to look at the fact that a lot of us adults have a lot of issues. And I'm not perfect. I have flaws just like anybody. But it's what you do with your life that speaks volumes of what you're working towards as far as fixing your situation. Are you really going out there and doing the heavy lifting? Are you doing the self-improvement? Or are you just talking? Are you making excuses? Excuse time is over. It is. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll see y'all on the next one.